Welcome to my next video in my series on how to finish a basement the hard way. In this video, I highlight some of the tools and techniques I learned while installing drywall. Before you can install drywall, you need to get it into your basement. It's a two-person job, and I recommend you use some inexpensive drywall carriers like these gator lifts. They allow you to grip and lift from the top of the sheet without marring the surface. Installing drywall doesn't require a lot of tools, but there are a few basic ones you'll need. You'll need a tape measure and a 4-foot ruler to use as a straight edge for cutting the drywall. You'll also need a pencil. I prefer these Alvin Draftmatic mechanical pencils. They're precise and there's no need to sharpen. To cut your drywall, choose a good utility knife with replaceable blades. Here are a few that I like. When you need to cut your drywall sheets down, simply measure, mark, and then use your straight edge as a guide for your utility knife. I like to make 2 passes for a cleaner edge to the cut. You can break the drywall sheet along the cut line. Carefully bend the sheet until you get a sharp crease on the reverse side of the sheet. Then you can run your knife down the crease to complete the cut. And finally, I recommend you use a drywall rasp to clean up the edge. This one by Tajima is pretty good. I thought I might be able to avoid buying a drywall screwdriver, since I was only building a single basement room, and maybe I could just use my existing drills. So I bought this screwgun converter. It works, but the results are slower and less than perfect. My advice? Spend the extra money and buy a dedicated drywall screwdriver. This Makita drywall screwdriver is excellent, and you can really dial in the depth of the screw. Even a small basement room needs a surprising amount of drywall screws. The ceiling drywall goes on first, and building code in most areas will require 5/8" fire-rated drywall for your ceiling. It's surprising just how much heavier a sheet of 5/8" drywall is than 1/2". So I highly recommend you get a drywall lift for doing the ceiling. I found one on Craigslist for only $120, and when I was done with it, I sold it back on Craigslist for $120. After the ceiling, you can install the 1/2" drywall on the walls. Install the drywall sheets horizontally, starting from the top of the wall. When you come to windows and doorways, I recommend you avoid the desire to cut sheets into rectangular sections like this. It creates extra drywall joints that you have to tape in mud. And what's worse, joints around these doors and windows are more likely to flex over time, and the tape and the mud are more likely to show cracks here. To avoid this problem, install an entire sheet of drywall over the door. Then you can cut out the doorway with a drywall cutting bit. Most Dremel-type rotary tools will do the job. I like this one from Black & Decker. I was surprised just how much easier it was to cut out the doorway with this technique. Installing drywall can be tedious, but it's actually one of the easier steps when finishing a basement. But that's only true if you've taken the time to make sure your studs are square and plumb. Then all your drywall cuts are simple square cuts, and the sheets go together tight and without headache. So what's the hardest step? Well, you'll have to check out my next video on mud and tape.